or compromise quality standards, and in all cases promote fairness, equity, and inclusiveness. In addition, we must strive to ensure that educational investment is targeted to those who have been traditionally excluded from quality education, including those living in remote areas and inaccessible areas, displaced persons, and most importantly, girls. It is important that no one is left behind and no community is excluded. With growing needs and shrinking resources for spending on education, it is ever more critical today to ensure that public spending reaches the front line of the education systems, teaching and learning. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, this will imply strengthening public financial management and accountability systems. It requires effective budget formulation, approval, execution, and monitoring and evaluation. There must be close tracking of budget and expenditure to tackle wastage in procurement, paying teachers, lecturers, and educators in a timely manner and transparent manner, and negotiating more cost-effectively for the hardware education systems run on. Achieving the objectives above requires careful planning and monitoring. However, effective planning and monitoring are contingent on the availability of reliable data and information, which are both challenging in the education sector. In addition, it requires capable administrators and planners. There is also scope for involving civil society and media in tracking budgets, as well as making sure that allocated budgets are properly and transparently utilized. Development partners and development aid can play an important role in augmenting the resources available for financing education transformation in Nigeria. These include the multilateral development banks, traditional bilateral donors, and emerging official donors such as China and the Gulf countries. However, Nigeria needs to be on the driver's seat in determining the utilization of these funds, including concessional and non-concessional laws. In this regard, priority should be given to education and social sectors. Furthermore, aid from bilateral and multilateral partners need to be better harmonized and aligned behind strengthening government systems. There are also important global initiatives towards education, enhancing education systems, and increasing education financing that could be tapped into by Nigeria. We have the Global Education Forum, which was established to improve collaboration and bring in more resources. We have the Education Commission, which recently launched the International Finance Facility for Education. And we have the Global Partnership for Education, which is also another source of funding for universities. As I round up this lecture, I would like to focus my attention on the financing of higher education in Nigeria. The financing of education in general and higher education in particular is one of the biggest problems facing the country. This is due to the high cost of education and the expansion of higher education owing to the increase in the demand for places. In fact, this has resulted in the lower quality in educational systems and lack of adequate and appropriate preparations for teaching and research. There is therefore an urgent need to change the structure of funding of education, and especially of higher education sector in Nigeria, to achieve its potential to act as an agent of growth and development. We cannot continue business as usual, relying on government financing and expecting different outcomes. We should be convinced, or at least accept the reality, that government alone cannot or will not provide all the resources needed to increase access to and promote quality higher education provision. Thus, the need for alternative financial mechanisms to complement public funding for higher education. Nigerian education system, particularly tertiary university education, must experiment with radically different models of access and funding if they are to create new identities for themselves and free the system from not only the untenable dependency of public funding, but also reliance on strikes to resolve its perennial funding issues. Given the limited financial resources in the public sector, exploring ways to attract private sector financing to support long-term investments is critical. At national or state level, the institutional investors have great potential to support infrastructure development. Promoting new and innovative sources of finance with a special focus on blended finance is also one way of resolving the financing challenges in higher education. Public-private partnerships can be an effective model for financing large-scale infrastructural investments in higher education. The success of effective implementation of public-private partnerships requires improved governance and stronger institutions to build new forms of public-private dialogue to strengthen the voice of the private sector in designing and developing national economic strategies. In this context, there is a need to formulate a clear policy framework that defines the roles, responsibilities, and potential gains of private sector firms investing in the education sector, and increase the capacity of both private banks and public sector in designing mutually beneficial framework for infrastructure PPPs in the sector. Additional solutions to address the challenges of financing higher education today may involve some mix of lowering per student costs and supplementing public revenue with tuition fees and other private sources. The challenge is how to maintain access in the face of almost inevitable rising expenses to both parents and students. The existing scholarship programs could be expanded and carefully targeted to the neediest students. The setting up of student loans and other financial schemes could also be explored in conjunction with banks and financial institutions. Governments could also explore ways to mobilize or leverage additional resources from non-traditional sources, including philanthropic organizations or corporate social responsibility contributions to support investments in the education sector. This could be supplemented by contributions from alumni associations. In this regard, endowments and foundations could be promoted to fund higher education and research. There are many contemporary experiences of university endowments, more especially the famous universities around the world, particularly in developed countries such as Harvard and Yale in the USA, Cambridge and Oxford in Britain, Kyoto University in Japan, Melbourne University in Australia, to mention but a few. Lessons could be drawn from these to make the current ad hoc contributions more structured. Nigerian universities should not underestimate the power of alumni in providing technical and financial resources. The largest university endowment in the world, that of Harvard University, currently estimated at over $50 billion US, comprising of several funds and donations from contributors, is a testimony to what the alumni of an institution can do. Bayer University should treat the
Thank you very much. Thank you. Coming to the end of the program, I now invite the chairman of the Convocation Lecture Subcommittee, Professor Mahmoud Lawan. Okay, the chairman wanted to say a word before the vote of thanks. Sir.
That is how it should be, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you have heard a very sound lecture professionally delivered. Because we are in a university situation as a convocation lecture, I would like the university to take the following as important in his lecture. One, he mentioned that what is required is equality, quality, and relevance, EQR. Secondly, he said that there is need for us, especially in the environment of Kano, to tackle the out-of-school children. The university here should devise means of integrating the local schools, because they are schools, and the so-called Boko schools. If you do this successfully to get both the Islamic, Arabic, and primary one, you have reduced more than 50% of out-of-school children. Thirdly, on the financing, he talked of so many issues, but there is one thing that I would say, in transforming the financing of the education in Nigeria, there is need to transform the institutions created to deal and improve the education system. Unless we transform people and transform the institutions like TED Fund and UEBEC from institutions that we go and get rich, not institutions that we go and improve our education, will never get it far. There are so many things happening. The leakages must be really protected and eliminated completely. You have said it all, and I believe that with a brand new chancellor and an enthusiastic chairman of the council, with a young, vibrant vice chancellor, BUK will assist us to transform institutions like TED Fund and even all institutions in some of the universities. People come to get vice chancellors in order to get money only. We should reject this idea completely, and you will see how people will come and assist us because we are very sincere and the integrity of the system is dependent. I thank you on behalf of everybody for this lecture, but somebody will thank you, subject to vote of thanks and national anthem. I declare the convocation lecture closed.
Thank you very much, sir. I now invite the chairman of the Convocation Lecture Subcommittee, Professor Mahmoud Lawan, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Registrar. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Segira Adam Abbas, I give this vote of appreciation. Especially, let me express on behalf of the university our special gratitude and appreciation to the Chancellor of the university, His Royal Majesty, Omonoba Nedu Oko Akpolokolo, Oba Ewari II, CFR, the Oba of Benin. We're highly honored with your presence, Mr. Chancellor, sir. We appreciate you for gracing this historic academic event. Let me also especially appreciate the chairman of this occasion, Alhaji Mahmoud Yael Ahmad, a seasoned technocrat, an eminent public servant who has served the nation diligently. We thank you, sir, for accepting to chair in this occasion, and of course, for the incisive contribution you've made to this presentation. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate. To our guest lecturer, the Vice President, Country Programs, Islamic Development Bank, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Sir, we thank you for this incisive and thought-provoking presentation, especially at this point in time in Nigerian universities, when the universities are undergoing both theft and reforms in the transformation of Nigerian university system. We thank you immensely for the Convocation Lecture. The Chairman of Council, Senator Udoma, we thank you, sir, for gracing this occasion. Members of the Governing Council of Bayero University, Kano, we appreciate you all. His Royal Highness, the Emir of Kano, who is ably represented by the Walin Kano. We appreciate, though they are not with us, but the Walin Kano has ably represented you. We thank you immensely for sending a representation to be part of this historic gathering. Thank you very much. All distinguished guests, the High Chiefs from Benin Kingdom, the visiting Vice Chancellors of other sister universities, former Vice Chancellors of Bayero University, former registrars, our graduates, parents of the graduates, our students, members of the diplomatic corps, heads of security agencies, other invited guests, and other distinguished personalities, and of course, the last but not the least, gentlemen of the press. We sincerely appreciate all of you for being part of this convocation of Bayero University. I will not complete this vote of appreciation without appreciating our very own, the Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission, who have always supported Bayero University in all its academic and other endeavors. Even though not physically present with us, I believe that wherever he is with Bayero University and with this convocation ceremony. We thank you immensely, sir, for the continued support and cooperation to Bayero University. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor, once again we appreciate you and thank you immensely for coming. I also want to take the opportunity to wish each and every one of you safe return to your respective destinations. Thank you and remain blessed. Thank you very much, Professor Mahmoud. At the tail end of this occasion, may I invite Professor Mohamed Babangida, the Director Center for
ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وصليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you very much, Professor. Mr. Chairman, sir, permit me to request the Assembly to rise for national anthem. The band, please, the BUK anthem first. The BUK anthem first. national anthem. Thank you very much. Bayero University community wish to thank everybody that you find time, despite your numerous engagements, to come and rejoice with us. We thank you most sincerely for being with us and for identifying with us. And we wish everybody safe return to your various destinations. And we sincerely acknowledge your presence here. We thank you very much. We wish you all the best. And thank you very much.
I just need a little piece of information from you, sir. Who are the Ojuju boys? Ojuju boys. Whoosh. Big boy stuff. Whoopee. We go collect woto. Whoosh. Whoopee.
Hi, my name is Uzo from El Padrino, and I sell tacos. So we at El Padrino are a cashless business, and we run a lot of deliveries. So it gets kind of hard if I have to be the one to check every single alert. What Squad Virtual Account does for us is quite simple. It makes my life easy because I can go ahead knowing that my team can confirm every single payment. For the customer, it's also easier. They don't have to wait until we receive an alert for them to go along their way. It's easy for everybody, me, my team, and the guest. That's why I love using the Squad Virtual Account, and I can't wait to see what else we do with it.
Ba sa ma zuwa makaranta. Idan Allah ya kaddara ka samu damar hawa wannan karaga, shin wace aniya kai don tunkarar wannan matsala?
To alhamdulillah, kamar yadda kai bayani, ilimi kusan shine foundation ko ce jadawalin komai da za a dora akai akan ilimi ya ta'allaka. Kuma muna da tsare-tsare a blueprint ina wanda kowa zai iya downloading sa a dawisu.com, inda maganar ilimi muke so mu mai da hankali akan ilimi a mataki na farko, wato primary education. Saboda komai za ka yi shine foundation ɗinka, kuma komai za a dora a kansa ake dora. A kiyasin da aka yi a waɗanda ɗalibai da ba sa zuwa makaranta a jihar Kano kusan ita ce a sahun gaba, wanda wannan ba karamar illa ba ce ga ci gaban rayuwa a al'ummarmu. Saboda haka ko me za mu yi a gwamnati muna son mai da hankali idan ka duba za ka ga cewa ko rashin ajujuwa da ake fama da su da sauran abubuwa na koyarwa da ake bukata, za ka tarar cewa ana a karancin su. Shekara da shekaru gwamnati ta kasa kokari ta ga cewa ta warware wannan matsaloli, saboda haka muka ɗau wannan mai bangare kuma muka bashi muhimmanci. A gurguje bangare guda.
Rashid Senate Building by Euro University, Kano, occupies an approximate area of 16,283 square meters, with the main building occupying 3,233 square meters. A grand celebrated entrance reception at the ground floor, with 4 elevators that can carry 21 persons each at the same time, 5 staircases, 5 restaurants and 2 ATMs. The 6th floor is the Senate chamber, committee rooms and ample space for sit-outs. The building is powered by 1 MVA transformer and secured by 40 CCTV cameras. The 5th floor consists of the Vice Chancellor's office, Deputy Vice Chancellor's offices, floor houses the registry and laboratory management. The 3rd floor has the bursary unit, internal audit and project monitoring and evaluation committee. More than 115 toilets and 36 storage facilities and utility rooms. The building consists of 7 floors on the central and rear wings, while the left and right wings have 6 floors with open rooftops for recreation and leisure.